Exclusive from the Daily Mail, a dozen FBI agents raid Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile island, pulling up to his Caribbean getaway in speedboats and roaming the grounds in golf carts. 2 days after pervert billionaire's suicide. And we're back. Mike Cernovich, Cernovich.com. Let's talk about this raid. And more importantly, let's talk about what this raid means. Because I think a lot of you remember me saying, why didn't they raid the island? And now we're going to tie up some loose ends here with the Jeffrey Epstein thing. So here they are. They're raiding their island 2 days after he died. And the question is, why didn't they raid it sooner? Now, a lot of people who don't know the law go, well, they couldn't raid it sooner. They didn't have the evidence. So I want to show you something called the Mann Act. So let's go ahead and read the Mann Act. Cases arriving under the Mann Act are investigated by the FBI and referred directly to appropriate United States attorneys. The child and exploitation of obscenity section of the criminal division is responsible for supervision of the act. Sections 2421 set forth several offenses, including the offense of knowingly transporting any individual in foreign or interstate commerce for the purpose of prostitution or sexual activity. So based on what we know about Jeffrey Epstein, could Jeffrey Epstein have been charged under the Mann Act, right? So here's the way you got it. Journalists aren't even asking this question. I'm the only reporter who's been asking this question from day one because I have a legal background. I've done criminal cases and everything else. So here's my question to you. Did Jeffrey Epstein knowingly transport any individual, male or female, in interstate or foreign commerce or in any territory or possession of the United States for the purpose of prostitution or sexual activity? So in other words, interstate commerce means you cross a state from New York, you go from New York to Florida. Foreign commerce means you fly to the Virgin Islands or you fly to Paris or you fly somewhere else. Jeffrey Epstein could have been charged under the Mann Act. He was not charged under the Mann Act. So what would have happened if the Department of Justice had prosecuted Jeffrey Epstein under the Mann Act? They could have raided his Paris property, Florida property, the pedophile island property, all on day one. You would have had raid teams right when Epstein was on the plane, which you would have done. You'd had raid teams ready when Epstein was on the plane en route and he was in U.S. airspace. You'd wait for him to about to land. The minute he lands, the raids are executed. Boom. You're kicking down doors and pedophile everywhere. That didn't happen. So what I reported at the time of these charges, when the media is going crazy, oh, can you believe it? My lawyer bells were just like, no, this is not right how he was charged, right? My lawyer bells were saying, why didn't the SDNY charge Jeffrey Epstein under the Mann Act? It's unlawful to transport an underage girl in interstate travel, including on an airplane. So that was me when everybody else is going, oh, he's prosecuting, he's finally going after Epstein. I was like, well, let's look at what wasn't charged rather than what was charged. So why wasn't Epstein charged under the Mann Act? Then they could have raided everything. So now, weeks after Epstein's arrest, they raid this. Oh, wow, big raid. Everything that was there could have been cleaned up by now, though, right? It all was just cleaned up by now. See, that's what I'm trying to get at here is they cleaned it up. They cleaned it up. So why wasn't Jeffrey Epstein charged under the Mann Act, which would have given SDNY power to raid every property at the time of Epstein's arrest? So that's the question. They could have and they didn't, and that's why everything about this case, from the initial, him getting a sweetheart deal to now is it just stinks. Even the prosecution now stinks. So they're now finally raiding the pedophile island, even though, again, for those of you who don't know what the Mann Act is, if you're just tuning in, I posted a link. So the Mann Act, real simple. The Mann Act makes it a crime to travel across state lines or to transport someone across state lines who's under 18 for sexual activity. It's a really clear, straightforward law. It's been used many, many, many times. Again, knowingly transporting any individual, male or female, in interstate or foreign commerce for prostitution or sexual activity. So it's just clear cut. Epstein violated the Mann Act. We know that from the sealed documents. There really is no question about it, but he was not charged under the Mann Act. And that is, again, the dog that didn't bark. Don't just look at what he was charged under. Look at what he was not charged under. By the way, if you're on Facebook, like and share this video. Give me your reactions. Let me know what you think. If you're on YouTube, be sure to like this video and share it. And if you're on Periscope, tap the screen and share it and everything else. So we're, again, Daily Mail exclusive. A dozen FBI agents raid Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile island. So they are all now, they're all over there raiding it, but it's too late. This raid is a lot of show. It's a big show they're putting on now. But the vault, Jeffrey Epstein's vault, he had a little safe that he kept. Jeffrey Epstein's vault is gone, right? He got arrested. More than enough time for people to clear things out. Oh, conspiracy theory, this conspiracy. This whole case is a conspiracy. The whole case from day one. The way he was treated, the way he was coddled, the way he wasn't charged. Everything is a conspiracy theory. By the way, I'm about to make a pre-workout. Should I make tiger's blood, mango, peach, or fruit punch? 1, 2, or 3. 1, tiger's blood. 2, mango, peach. 3, fruit punch. I have some pre-workout samples here that I'm about to try from gorillamind.com, GORILLAMIND.com. If you're just tuning in, I'm Mike Cernovich, writing most every day at cernovich.com. And one of my articles now is becoming prophetic, which was the article, first person to report it, disappointment is the Southern District of New York undercharges Jeffrey Epstein. Why didn't SDNY charge him under the Mann Act? Did we lose connection here for a minute, friends? Maybe we did. All right, we'll see. We'll have to toggle away here from split screen because we're now on the blue screen. These things happen, unfortunately, in my world. So we have, so the question is, why was he not charged under the Mann Act? Why was he undercharged? He was absolutely undercharged. That's the biggest question. I haven't even seen any criminal defense lawyers, explaining that, why he was undercharged in the way he was. It just doesn't make sense. He should have been charged much more aggressively than he was. It's just shady, people. It is just beyond shady that he was not charged under the Mann Act. Oh, for those, I'm about to go to the gym. People say I should do tiger's blood. All right, so I'm going to make a tiger's blood pre-workout here. This is all comes in packages. So it's just sort of, when you get samples, I'm not going to show them because people Photoshop it and try to claim I'm doing illicit drugs or something. That's what they always do. If I post any kind of picture, they'll get Photoshopped and misrepresented and everything else. All right, I'm going to take a few calls, by the way, guys. Do you guys want me to take your calls? Do you want to call and talk about Epstein and what happened and, the decisions made on this case? If you do, I'll give you a call-in number, 1-866-438-1487. Again, the number is 866-438-1487. Call me up. Let me know what you think about Jeff Epstein. The question for those of you just tuning in is, why is it that Epstein was not charged under the Mann Act? Why are they only just now raiding the facility? Doesn't really, seem like it makes a lot of sense. And, it's a little kind of a bummer, kind of a bummer the way this case has shaken out and broken down. It's most emphatically a bummer. There really is no other way to put it. He could have been charged much more aggressively. There are a lot of people who are much less dangerous than Epstein who are charged with much more serious offenses than he was. They did not throw the book at him. They could have gone ham, civil forfeiture on every property. Again, because under the Mann Act, if you don't know what it is, it's fine. It's okay to not know. But under the Mann Act, it's a felony to transport somebody under 18 for the purposes of sexual activity. And that was exactly what Epstein was doing the entire time. So there really is no good reason why he wasn't charged under the Mann Act. And I wish more reporters would say that. By the way, I'm mixing a tiger's blood. This stuff's kind of messy. It's like loose powder here. I'm mixing a tiger's blood pre-workout. This thing is fully loaded. It's not available yet because we're trying samples and everything else. So if you see me fussing around, it's because I have all these packages and I don't want some idiot to show a picture of me carrying a baggie of powder and then lying and trying to say that I was doing something that I wasn't. Story of my life, people. One of the most lied about people alive today. All right, hold on a second. We got we got a caller from Dayton, Ohio. How are you?
Hey, Mike.
Sound check first. Hold on. Did you guys hear the caller? I had to put my earpiece in, guys. We have a caller from Dayton, Ohio. Oh, we have a bunch of callers on hold. And hold on, Dayton. Don't just chill out, bro. What a lot of people do is they try to jump the line. I'll get to you. I just got to do a sound check and make sure everything is working the way it's supposed to. If you're just tuning in, I'm Mike Cernovich, Cernovich.com, here to ask the hard questions about how the Jeffrey Epstein case was handled and to ask why it wasn't handled more aggressively than it was. All right, Dayton, Ohio, how you doing? I don't hear you. Dayton? All right, maybe we got sound problems. Did you hear the caller from Dayton, Ohio? Okay, we'll see. If you're on Facebook, like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, like and share. If you're on Periscope, be sure to share it. We're talking about the raid against Jeffrey Epstein and a whole other number of matters here. Very, very dangerous times in this world to be alive. So hold on, we're going to do a sound check here on... Yeah, we got a lot of trolls here. Yeah, they gave Epstein enough time to do what he had to do, right? They gave Epstein enough time to, or his people or whoever Epstein was affiliated with or working with, he had enough time before they did this raid. That was, I think that was a problem all of us had. Is they had enough time to do all this, and for whatever reason, they just now decided to do this. It really is crazy. It really is frustrating how he's getting off and getting away with all of these absolutely heinous crimes. But I mean, at this point, nothing really, I think, surprises any of us. We're all just, the entire case from the get-go was handled as a joke. All right, Dayton, Ohio, how you doing? What's on your mind today? Let us know what's on your mind today. Dayton, Ohio. Hold on, I gotta mix this up. I'm drinking a pre-workout here. If you can't tell, I gotta get a little bit. Yeah, the Epstein's victims have definitely seemed to have gotten away with a lot that it's just bad all around. Again, he was not charged under the Mann Act, which makes it a crime to transport women interstate. He could have been. The raid is finally happening, but this raid should have happened a long time ago. It should have happened a long time ago. I'm about to drink pre-workout from GorillaMind.com, GorillaMind.com, GorillaMind.com. The pre-workout's not available yet, but there's all kinds of stuff. Hong Kong airport canceled. There's a lot going on today in this world, people. And I really do want to take your calls, but this new setup has just been glitchy to just an unbelievable amount of annoyance. For whatever reason, it has just not been cooperating with me at all, much to my frustration. But there's really, only so much that I can do here. Atlanta, Georgia, talk to us. Let me see if we can hear you, Atlanta. Atlanta, Georgia.
Can you hear me okay?
Strange. Really strange, people.
Can you hear me okay?
All right. Well, for those of you who called, sorry about that. We got to get this corrected and fixed, and it seems like there's just always some kind of glitch these days. And we'll figure it out here. We'll definitely figure it out. Hey man, can you swing by today? I can't get Bluetooth to work for the callers and the earpiece. I can't hear people when they're calling in. It's just kind of the resolution isn't working for the iPad. It's just all kind of screwed up. Thanks. All right, friends. I'll read your comments instead. I can't take your calls, which breaks my heart, but I can take your comments. So I'm going to go ahead and read some of your comments. Ask me which is on your mind. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe to the channel. If you're on Facebook, be sure to like this video, share it, and then be able to like the page. If you're on Twitter, say the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and just read your questions now. What's on your mind? I get a few minutes before the pre-workout kicks in. You got about, wow, this is really good. Wow, this is good. This is pre-workout, GorillaMind.com. It's not available yet. It's still in the formulation phase. But you can go to Gorilla Mind and get youth serum for your skin. There's a great sleep aid, Gorilla Dream, super effective, super potent. And then, of course, Gorilla Mind Rush and Gorilla Mind Smooth. Now, I don't think the Clintons had anything to do with the Epstein thing. Yeah, I actually think it's counterproductive. I think the Clinton body count stuff is kind of funny in a sort of cosmic way. I always find it, and by cosmic, I mean where people are, Trump gets falsely accused of so much. They call him a racist, they call him a Nazi, they call his supporters Nazis. And then when the left gets charged falsely or accused of stuff like the Clintons are, they didn't have anything to do with the Epstein thing, then I'm just sort of like, well, this is what you people do. You smear people, you lie about people all the time. And yeah, when it happens to you, then it's mortifying. And suddenly, the reporters, they care about truth now. It's just horrible. Can you believe it? Oh my God, we're in a post-truth world. Well, how about you quit lying about Trump, the very fine people hoax, right? That said, it doesn't bring us closer to the truth. Why was Elaine Maxwell not charged? Another great question. She could have been and should have been charged, but she was not. All this stuff about Anthony Bourdain and the Epstein stuff, I don't have time for this stuff, okay? I really don't. There are other people who want to just deal with that nonsense. It's not me. I don't have time to hear about Anthony Bourdain was secretly suicide. I don't have time for this, okay? This is a very serious thing. Jeffrey Epstein's death means that a number of pedophiles are probably going to get away with it. We're never going to know what's happened. And just chasing this moronic stuff, it makes me think that you're in on it, right? Because when you say things that are completely ridiculous, you discredit what is truthful. And you allow them to say, oh, all these people are saying Anthony Bourdain, blah, blah, blah. No, first of all, it's very easy to get to somebody in prison. If you have means and resources, you are not safe in prison. You're so not safe in prison. And it would have been quite easy for the royal family, for an intelligence agency, domestic and or foreign. A lot of people go, oh, Mossad this, Mossad that. If Epstein was working for Mossad, which is not proven, he would have been working for the FBI too. It isn't like he would only be an asset for one person. He would have been an asset for the UK. He would have been an intelligence asset for everyone, for every kind of country. So if they want you dead, it's pretty easy to get rid of you, right? They just, they tell the guards, the prisoner, gives a little bribe to the guard, and the prisoner does his thing. So it's not that hard. You don't need to get into the weird stuff. The Bourdain, and now he's suddenly somehow free. Just really, 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 really absurd. Really, really, really absurd. And I just wish people would not discredit themselves and discredit other people by going there. So a major A-list celebrity was used as a body double. Just don't watch me. I really don't. You're just a distraction from the truth, and you might be an agent provocateur designed to just discredit us all and make us all look bad. But yeah, I want to know why the rage is happening. Oh, a couple super chats on YouTube. That's correct. There is a super chat. YouTube is enabled. Thank you for that. So the question we're discussing is Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile island is being raided today. Why wasn't it raided from day one? And why was Epstein only charged for massages that happened in New York and not charged for domestic and interstate transportation or domestic and international transportation of underage girls under the Mann Act, right? Because it was clearly a crime. And I think we're kind of figuring that out. And don't tell me incompetence. These are very competent lawyers. And you don't even have to be a highly incompetent lawyer. You don't even have to be a highly incompetent lawyer to know about the Mann Act. Well, if you look at the blue thing, though, the mixer, the blue thing, it won't show the iPad. That's where the iPad is supposed to be, and the iPad's turned on. And yeah, I connected my laptop, which I use for the conference call software, to the Bluetooth, but I couldn't hear the conversation in the earpiece, and all the knobs are turned up and etc. Sorry, guys, I'm doing technical difficulty stuff. Technical difficulty. We're busy people. I'm a one-man show. People forget that. That's why I always kind of laugh when people have these conspiracy theories about me and everything else. I'm like, dude, I'm literally on texting with my tech guy, my AV genius, because a few things are, confusing and not going well. But yet people want to claim, this and that. So again, the Mann Act is the number one question of the day. Why was Jeffrey Epstein not charged under the Mann Act? So what is my current theory as to what happened to Epstein? Pretty simple, really. Pretty simple. Either the royal family or people with intelligence connections got to an organized crime link, went in and said Epstein needs to go away. The guards were just distracted, and someone got in Epstein's cell, strangled him, and that's that. Because where's the rope? Where's the marks on his neck? Right? How did they claim he died by suicide. Did he take poison? Was it arsenic? We don't even know. They're just saying he died by suicide. How did he die by suicide? How did he die by suicide? Strangulation? Poison? Suffocation? Well, he died by suicide. We don't know. That's the biggest conspiracy theory right now, is to say he died of suicide, because how did he die of suicide? Again, strangulation, suffocation, poison? We don't know. We don't know. But we're just supposed to believe that he died of suicide, and that's the end of the conversation. Whereas everybody just wants to know, how did he do it? How did it happen? Did you test his blood type? Come on, right? Get real. Was there a blood test? Right? That really is the problem here. Is there a, well, was there? What true? But somehow, you're just supposed to believe, we're just supposed to believe that he died and it was by suicide, but we don't know if it was strangulation. We don't know if it was asphyxiation, suffocation, poison. Really is crazy. By the way, I am reading your comments. I'm trying to get phones set back up. We will see if we can get the phones set back up. I do want to take your calls before I hit the gymnasium and get this pre-workout going. There'll be a pre-workout probably about 8 weeks. GorillaMind.com, GorillaMind.com, GorillaMind.com. We'll be offering a pre-workout. And, in a short number of time, 8 weeks probably, maybe sooner. We will definitely see. Go to GorillaMind.com though for the best sleep aid, skincare line, skincare products, and of course for Gorilla Mind Rush, which is taking the world, including the bodybuilding world, by storm. People are taking it as a pre-workout because it's that mind-muscle connection. Other people just take it to have a more productive day. Who knows? GorillaMind.com, GorillaMind.com. Let's read your comments. FBI needs to investigate. Yeah, there needs to be a full, open investigation for this, and there isn't. This all has been handled Epstein was, again, charged the most minimal conduct he could have been charged with. He could have been aggressively charged under the Mann Act. There could have been massive search and seizure operations at every property simultaneously, and there wasn't. There wasn't. There definitely wasn't. You'd be very surprised. Yeah, was there a toxicology report? Sure, these are basic questions that we should be asking. Was there a toxicology report? Did Epstein die? These are the questions I want you to ask your friends. How did he commit suicide? Okay, was he strangled, suffocated, or poisoned? Those would be the only three. Because there's no indication he was stabbed, right? So there was no indication of blunt force trauma. There's only a certain number of ways people die, right? Blunt force trauma, strangulation, suffocation, poison, hemorrhaging through, somebody hits you with a shank or something like that. There's only a certain number of ways people can die. So how? He committed suicide? No. He did that. How? How did he commit suicide? Forgetting the logistics of it, how did he die? What was his cause of death? Cause of death, suicide by what? Suicide by what? Suicide by what? That's the question. That's the question we all want to know. Suicide via what means? Oh, we don't know. You don't know, of course. Just love it. Nobody knows anything, right? Nobody knows anything about the exact means. So just know it was suicide, and if you don't accept it was suicide, then you're just obviously a conspiracy theorist who will believe anything. But I think that the biggest, I don't want to say benefit, but even in tragedy, there's good moments, is that nobody's going to believe these official stories anymore. These are some ratty head things. I need to get better ones than this. They don't really fit that well here in my ears. There's definitely that going on. For those, if you're on YouTube, okay, we can take your calls now. Okay, 866-438-1487, 866-438-1487. I'm going to take 15, or so minutes of calls, and I will definitely take 15 or so minutes of calls, and tell me what you think, right? You tell me what you think. 1-866-438-1487. Let me know what you think. And then we will talk. All right, let's go here. Toronto, Canada. How are you doing? Tragedy, there's...
Good, Mike. How are you? Thanks for everything.
Thank you.
What do you think Ghislaine Maxwell's chances of being indicted are? And if that happens, do you think that she will immediately go to, I was a victim myself, and I was brainwashed, and I have a battered women syndrome? So that's my first question.
Yeah,
I have a question about civil forfeiture.
Right. She could have. So the question is, the real evildoer in this Epstein stuff was the pedophile pimp, Ghislaine Maxwell. And the question is, will she be indicted? I don't know. She might have to be. That she should have been indicted from day one, and she wasn't indicted from day one, which a lot of people found suspicious. But now that Epstein is dead, people are going to want results, right? People are going to be asking the questions you're asking. And it's going to be very, very, very hard for people for her to get away with it.
And I just have one more question about civil forfeiture, state, local, and federal. If they take everything, which they can, I'm sure at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
will the victims, can the victims be left with nothing if more victims come forward?
No.
And the state has taken everything?
No, when you die, there's going to be an executor of your estate that's going to have to set all the things aside, and they're going to have to sort it out. So no, they'll be fine. The properties will be sold and everything like that. But yeah, it's going to be a mess, and it's going to be very, very, very messy. That is, that's for sure. But no, the victims will be taken care of. But yeah, the question now though, Elaine Maxwell, what's going to happen? I don't know. We'll see. Thank you for your call, ma'am. We got a caller from Wildwood, New Jersey.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to say to you, man, I mean, you've made the history books here with your involvement in this, and you should be very proud of that, man.
Well, thank you. Yeah, there was definitely, what I always tell people is there was no one was talking about Epstein before I was. But Julie Brown of the Miami Herald deserves 10 times the credit as I do. So the way I would say is I tipped over one domino, and then Julie Brown tipped over. She tipped over 100,000 dominoes. So yeah, I definitely appreciate that.
Well,
I did.
Just like you to,
yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying, just like you to hand the credit off to somebody else too. That's your character, and I appreciate that. But that's all. I didn't have a question. I just wanted
thank you for the call.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I like to do. This stuff is more effective when the liberal mainstream media run it. So for me, when I run things, the media goes, oh, it's a crank, it's a conspiracy theory. There's too many ways to discredit it. So I would rather have the mainstream media work on this stuff. That way I wouldn't have to. Right? I'm just getting, doing gym stuff and working on my book and everything. I did this out of a duty, out of a civic obligation due to the depravity of the fake news media. Louisville, Texas, how you doing? You got a 972 area code. Beverly Hills, California, how you doing?
Hi, Mike. This is Alfie from Los Angeles. How are you?
Welcome. How are you?
Doing well. Actually, I was just thinking about, what is the thing that you are dealing with today. And I believe once the body is still warm, due to the investigation they have for Cernovich, it takes about 2 to 3 hours to figure out if it was an injection or if it was lethal by strangulation or suffocation.
Right.
So I'll say this, everything is falling down. It's like the puzzle is falling off instead of building it.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, right? Right, it doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. Has no, nobody's, okay, they're visitors. There's a book for visitors. If you are taken out of this, there's somebody who was supervising all of this, both his access in his room, everything that he was using in his room, it was signed, registered, controlled according to their protocol. So what happened?
Yeah.
There is no.
These are basic questions.
Marks, let's say hands, fingers.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And thank you for your call. Yeah, that's exactly it. These are just basic questions. So why is it that we don't have answers? This is not complicated. He died allegedly by suicide. Great. How? He poisoned himself. He suffocated himself. Make sense. Right? Strangled himself. It's just really that straightforward. And we're all just getting tired of this, man. We're all just getting tired of this, man. We're all tired of lies. By the way, if you're on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe to this. If you're on Facebook, like and share. That's my daughter in the background saying, "Did you say YouTube?" What are you eating? You eat a cottage cheese? That's nice. And frozen blueberries? Is that why your face is all blueberry? Okay, will you go ask Mom to wash your face, please? Please? That's my daughter in the background coming out to say hi. All right, we got a caller from San Francisco, California. How you doing? 415 area code. Okay. Freehold, New Jersey. How you doing?
Hello. Hey, Mike. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Mike?
Yep.
No one's mentioning the other thing. Besides Maxwell, there's 3 to 4 other women who were also involved. And one of them happens to be married currently to a NASCAR driver. How come they're not being investigated or questioned? They seem to be involved quite a number of years, 3 or 4 of them, with Epstein, along with Maxwell. And those 3 or 4 are right here in the United States. So why not start with them?
Hey, man, your guess is as good as anyone, right? That's why people are jumping to conspiracies, because this is just not being handled the way it should be handled, right? That's why nobody believes any of this. It's just not being handled the way it should be handled. You're right. Why didn't heads roll? Multiple people.
Yeah.
And I think we know the answer.
Yeah. And that Victoria Roberts, I remember back in 2009, 2010, there was a 3-page article about her in, I can't remember what magazine, but she detailed every famous person that she was forced to have sex with. And, the mainstream or the lamestream media made it out that she was a complete lunatic.
Mm-hmm.
And, they've been proven wrong once again, and they did nothing but slander this poor young girl, who at the time, at the article, I think was only about 20 or 21. She was able to identify certain marks on people's bodies, and they made her out to be a screwball, and she really wasn't. And I definitely believe this is a big conspiracy. And I'm not a conspiracy guy. I really am not. But there's something weird going on here now.
Yeah, and you said it just right, sir. Thank you for your call. You said it just right, which is, I'm not a conspiracy guy. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and that's what everyone is saying. I don't believe in conspiracy theories, but come on. Something happened here. Come on. Get real, right? It really is one of those cases where you're like, GFY, which I won't say out loud, but means go, then F yourself. If somebody tells you something that's just so beyond credulity, just, get out of here. Go F yourself. This isn't possibly true. It's just so absurd. And collectively, that's how everyone feels. Dayton, Ohio, how you doing?
Hey, can you hear me okay, Mike?
Yes, sir.
Oh, great. So I got a question for you, actually, about the future. So
Mm-hmm.
a couple of weeks ago, you had tweeted out that you were expecting there to be a domestic terrorist incident here in the U.S., and I thought, I should really pay attention to that. And then one happened literally on my street last week. And my question for you is, in the coming weeks, months, and even years, what can normal families like us, like fathers like you and I, what do you think we can do to prepare and protect our families from the coming civil unrest, maybe even civil war, protracted decentralized civil war, and possibly even an economic recession as well? What can we do?
Yeah, I like that you said protracted decentralized, because that's what it's going to be. Most people have an archaic view of civil war where you think there's the blue and the gray, the North and the South fighting each other. And it's actually not true. It's going to be decentralized terrorism by Nazis on one side, eco-terrorists on another side, and Antifa on the other side. So we're just going to, if you're just a normal person, there's going to be terrorism happening to solve targets. The Dayton, Ohio shooter, by the way, was Antifa. That freaked the left out. But the El Paso shooter was some hybrid of eco-terrorist and Nazi. It was just a really bizarre sort of hybrid. So what can we do as just regular people? Well, one is that you have to take a preparation course. Situational awareness. Tim Kennedy, a former UFC fighter and Green Beret, teaches them. A lot of people just take a course. Here's what you do when things pop off. I think it's Mark Devine said this, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your lowest level of training. When things pop off, everybody has this Hollywood fantasy. Oh, when things pop off, I'll jump over there. No, you don't. Do you know what cover and concealment is? What's the difference between cover and concealment? Right? Cover lets you hide from the enemy in rounds, but it doesn't actually protect you. Right? Or cover protects you, concealment doesn't. I just got that, flipped them off, right? So concealment is you're hiding, but you can still get shot. Cover means that you're protected. So if there's an attack, what are you going to do? So what I do is when I walk around, especially in cities, I'm like, okay, there's a trash can. Rounds could penetrate that. Okay, but if I needed to hide, I could hide behind that. If I needed, right? So what happens if something opens fire? That's how you have to think. Situational awareness. Is there somebody just out of place? Somebody just looks a little weird. Somebody just looks a little bit creepy. You have to train for this. I'll give you an example that happened to me when I was in college. Very young man traveling in Germany for the first time. And a guy came over and was talking to me and kind of charming me. And I just body language read him. And then I noticed something when he opened his, inside pocket or something. I noticed he had cigarettes in there. So he was talking to me and my friend getting a little close, and he goes, "Oh, hey man, can I bum a cigarette?" And he got really close. And I said, "Hey, you got cigarettes in your inside pocket, don't you?" And he freaked out. He goes, whoa, hey man, chill out. Hey, literally, hey, chill out. Like I just completely spooked him and freaked him out. But I'd known, because the minute you come near me, I'm inspecting you, right? Every part of you, your body language. So he was coming close. Oh, can I bum a cigarette? He was going to do something. What was he going to do? I don't know what he was going to do. I don't know. Maybe it was going to be an attack, maybe a pickpocket. But the minute I said, "Hey, you got cigarettes in your inside pocket," he freaked out. So that tells me he was projecting his own intent onto me. And then he literally was like, "Whoa, hey," and backed away. So what you do is you have to learn situational awareness, learn basic principles, cover concealment. What do you do if things pop off right now? Where would you go? Where are you going to exit to? If you want to be a hero, or if people want to be a hero, you better be going to the gym, lifting weights. Can you run 100 meters? How fast? Can you push a prowler? Can you carry sandbags? Can you throw things over yourself? Can you do a double leg takedown? What can you do? Basic, advanced Tim Kennedy, MMA. It's not even optional anymore. If you're a man, it is not optional for you to train, go to the gym, know a little BJJ, know a little bit of situational awareness, know a little bit about firearms, because the world we're entering and the era we're entering will be, like you said, decentralized violence, and we're all going to be caught in the middle. Thank you for your call. Poughkeepsie, New York, how you doing?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Okay, first I just want to say thank you so much for your work on the Epstein case. Had it not been for you, this, this pedophilia network situation would have never been brought to light.
Thank you.
Yes, I just have two questions. One, how far do you think this stretches?
All the way to the highest levels of domestic and foreign intelligence, all the way to the royal family, all the way to people that we don't even know, trillionaires, just real super legacy stuff is so high, that higher than I can even see. So whoever controls the highest levels of the FBI, people above that. That's why when people go, "Oh, Bill Clinton," like, come on, Bill Clinton's a nobody right now. This is way, way, way beyond, way beyond their pay grade. I mean, just think about the royal family's power. Prince Andrew was implicated in this. So just think about the royal family, the power that they have in all of this. And then the idea that it couldn't be them is crazy. And so what I don't like is people who are biased, and we all have them. I don't like that I hear people immediately go to the Clintons or Mossad, because that's just not sophisticated, first of all, and it's vaguely anti-Semitic. Mossad. Well, why? If Epstein were with Mossad, he'd be with the FBI too, right? You really think if Jeffrey Epstein was working for Mossad, that our own FBI wouldn't have intercepts of those conversations, right? So why just jump? Oh, Mossad. Why just jump there? Why not Civilians Activities Group? Why not? Maybe there's a department in the State Department that monitors this stuff, right? So why go there? And also Clinton, that's just a cliche. They don't have any power. The Prince Andrew, though, royalty, they have power. So it could be the FBI and other elements, not the FBI, qua FBI, but elements within it could be. But that's why I just really am disappointed with a lot of people who are taking hokey, hacky, campy conspiracy theories that are too well-trodden, well-worn. What we're dealing with is unprecedented, right? What we're dealing with the Epstein, from the initial charges in 2009 to the civil lawsuit to the criminal charges to you name, everything is unprecedented. So if you're using your same models of thought on Epstein, you're not upgrading. And that means there's a time where people like me, I don't know. Who did it? I don't know. what happened. I don't know. I don't know. That's okay, because by developing that, well, I don't know, that means I'm open to possibilities rather than just doing some cliched fallback that isn't going to elevate my thinking, your thinking. Columbia, South Carolina, how you doing?
Hey, this is, how you doing?
Good, dude.
All right, so what I was thinking is possibly Epstein, after things started to get hot before he was arrested, perhaps he kind of had an emergency plan in place and activated it to where whenever he was in the prison, somehow someone would get a poison pill into him and he just take that, and it's pretty quick.
Yeah, so you make a great point, which is if you go with suicide, but what we know about Epstein, he was blackmailing people probably. Why would he commit suicide before he played his cards? Whatever you think about Epstein, he was an evil man, but he's not a dumb man. So the question is, why would he kill himself when he still had cards to play? Suicide is what you do when you have no other options, when you can't do anything else. Epstein had a lot of cards left to play. So based on what I know about him, based on what I know about human behavior, based on what I know about how this case has gone, why does he kill himself? Right? He still had cards to play. Yeah, there were still the CD-ROM files and everything else. So yeah, he still had cards to play, but he didn't do it. So why would he commit suicide? That's what I want to know. Okay, I'll take a couple more calls. I'm going to hit the gym. You can call me at 866-438-1487, 866-438-1487. What we're looking at right now is in this Epstein-related lawsuit, Virginia Gilfrey versus Dershowitz. The chart illustrates the international scope of Epstein's sex trafficking. So Epstein would travel from, I forgot about the New Mexico one. He would travel from New York City to the Bahamas, to the Virgin Islands, to London, Paris, Tangier, Santa Fe, St. Louis. So he was transferring women in interstate commerce, and yet, he wasn't charged under the Mann Act. That is, if you're new to me, you might not really understand how I operate or how we do things. But if you're new here, then you don't really get it. We like to focus on one issue just tenaciously, right? We like to just focus on one issue and not let it drop. People go, Cernovich, you're repeating yourself. You're right. We like to focus on one issue and just use utter tenacity to not drop it. So we are not going to drop the Mann Act. We are not going to just say, oh, we'll move on to the latest news cycle. We're going to keep pressing it. Why wasn't Ghislaine Maxwell charged under the Mann Act? Why wasn't Epstein charged under the Mann Act? We're not going to drop it. That's what I do. You repeat yourself, Cernovich. Yes. Because why? Because these are important issues. A glib thinker just goes to whatever's current. Oh, here's a squirrel. Go chase the little squirrel. A deep thinker knows that he's onto something big, and he just doesn't drop it. And that's how you get to the truth. You just tenaciously focus on the truth. And to have tenacious focus, you need Gorilla Mind. GORILLAMIND.com. GorillaMind.com. The best focusing agent, period. End of story. We have some people here I know have tried it. Let people know what you think of Gorilla Mind. Rush or smooth. By the way, I wore my pirate shirt today. What do you think about Gorilla Mind, Rush or Smooth, GORILLAMIND.com? More focus, more motivation, more energy. Ditch the energy drinks. Gorilla Mind Rush, way better than any energy drink you're ever going to have. By the way, I can feel my pre-workout kicking in. So we have, that's GorillaMind.com, GORILLAMIND.com. Rush, people love Rush. I prefer Smooth. People love Rush, though. It is what it is. So it is what it is. All right, we're going to take more calls. The number is 866-438-1487. I'm starting to get that cotton mouth from the pre-workout. 866-438-1487. 1487. We got a caller, Kansas City, Missouri. How you doing?
Pretty good, Mike. Hey, first off, I wanted to thank you for all your good work that you've done on this. But my question is, do you think the prison warden or any of the prison guards will be held accountable for their negligence?
Great question. Unlikely. Unlikely, because that would mean people would have to kind of talk, right? So for people to be held accountable, then there would have to be an actual competent investigation, right? And then names would have to be named, and people would really have to kind of figure out what is going on, and they'll be, they would definitely be spilling the beans. So I find it, I'm not optimistic that anybody will be held accountable. Thank you for your call. Charlotte, North Carolina, how you doing?
Is this me?
It is you.
Hey, Mike, it's Lewis.
Thanks, Lewis.
Hey, man, I really appreciate what you've done on this. And no matter what detractors are trying to say, I just, me and Yvonne, my sister Yvonne, are just 100% behind you, and just appreciate what you've done here. You might have already covered this. I haven't been here the whole time, but this whole FBI raid 5 weeks after Epstein was arrested in the first place, I mean, what's your take on that?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what we're talking about. That's been, why now? After he's dead, after there's been more than enough time for the island to have been cleared out by some team could have come in at night on speedboats, went in, taken away the vault, all the blackmail material, and now there's a raid. Nobody believes that, right? Here, I'll ask a question right now. If you're on YouTube or Periscope or Facebook, press 1 if you find it credible that the island was raided today. Press 2, type in 2 if you're skeptical. So again, press 1 if you think it's credible that the island was just raided today and wasn't raided 5 weeks ago. Press 2 or type on 2 in the comments if you find it incredible and not credible that it was just raided. And yeah, that's the $1 million question, right? Why now? And I think the answer is because they know that all of the damaging information and whatnot, it's all been cleared out, right? It's all been
or maybe a press 3 option where is this the last cleanup crew?
Right.
This FBI raid the
No, I don't. No, I definitely don't believe that. The FBI. So this is so line FBI agents would definitely not cover this kind of stuff up. These people are true believers, and no, and that's even what we've been seeing with Comey and McCabe and others. It's the people at the very top. So the FBI can only do what they're authorized to do under law. So if the Southern District of New York undercharges the case, then the FBI agents can only do what they're authorized to do under the case. So there's no way that the FBI line agents would cover any of this stuff up. No way, no how. But the case was charged and manipulated in a way. So we're looking at a map right now from Technofrog where it shows all the travel Epstein did. And he traveled to London, Paris, New York, you name it. And so the question is, why was he not charged under the Mann Act? Why was he not charged for interstate travel of women? It does not make any sense. Thanks for your call, man. It's always good to see you and talk to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it just doesn't add up. It just doesn't make sense. If you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. If you're on Facebook, be sure to like the video, share the video, and like my page. Right, so the question I'd ask is, 1, do you find it credible that just today, there's a raid on Epstein's island? Or 2, do you find it highly suspicious, to say the least? And I think it's pretty clear how people feel about it. They're just not finding it. They're just not finding it credible right now. So by the way, if you're new here, what website can you read me on every day? Right, for those of you new here, because a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people don't know I do a lot of writing off of social media. I write most every day. We do a lot of long-form writing, issues, news, and journalism and mindset and a whole other bunch of information. That's Cernovich.com, Cernovich.com. I'm going to have a big article at cernovich.com, CERNOVICH.com, about the Mann Act, about how this case was charged, about why the case was not charged aggressively enough, why it could have been charged aggressively enough, but it definitely was not charged the way it could have been and the way it should have been. I'm Mike Cernovich, cernovich.com. Like the video, subscribe to it on YouTube, like my page on Facebook, tap the screen a few times.